Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody. I'm here with Sarah of Team Sparks, and today we are going to talk about virtual boot camps. So that's because we have a brand new course that just came out called Create Your High Ticket Virtual Bootcamp. And actually, I will show the link there so that you know, contentsparks.com/virtual bootcamps. So that's our new thing, and it is a very big comprehensive course that you are gonna love when you see more of it. If you do have questions at all during this time, be sure to put them in the comments below and we will see them. We're using StreamYard here, so we'll be able to see and answer any of your comments and show them and whatnot. So put those below. And what we're gonna do is talk about what a virtual bootcamp is, because there are a lot of questions about, is it a challenge? Is it a sprint? Is it an online course? Is it a retreat, a workshop? What is this thing? Are you going to get me up there doing calisthenics and jumping around doing kickboxing? There's a lot of debate over that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and some of the differences, talk about what makes a successful boot camp. We'll go through some of the key things in the course. Now, I'm not going to go into every single file and folder in the course, because on the sales page, I did a sneak peek where I actually opened up everything. It's about 28 minutes long or stuff. So I open up everything, or most of the stuff, and talk about how you can use it and brand it and whatnot. So we'll briefly go over some of what's in the course and how you could break it up, and a few of the little worksheets and things and how you could use those. And then we're going to look at the bonuses too. Okay, does that sound good? Yes. I'm going to look at the comments. I see there's already something in here. So we've got Sanjana, like others, yes. And Power Up Coaching, yes, hello. Tell me your name, please, so I can say hi. Anyone else who's on, say hi in the comments, and we'll get to it. Okay? Excellent. So I'm going to first share my screen here so that you can see here. I will hide the banner, but remember, it's contentsparks.com/virtual bootcamps. Hopefully easy to remember. So let me hide that so we can see. So just as a very quick overview, these are the key modules in the course. So there's a whole thing where you set your goals and your targets, and there is a discussion, which we're going to look at in a second, about what the differences are between boot camps and other things. But this is the success roadmap of what you go through, what you take your students through. So they set their goals, they identify their target audience and a topic for their boot camp. They actually they outline, and you get a document that they can use as a full outline of their boot camp and create any content. They choose the tools and tech. So this is not a tech training course, but you can give recommendations on what tech they need. There's a whole module on marketing and selling your boot camp. Nurturing some people, building buzz, things like that. There's a whole module on delivering your boot camp successfully, and then how to follow up and get feedback so you can do another one. So that's a very high level. You can see the module overviews, the breakdown of the lessons on the sales page, and actually inside your instructor materials folder, you'll also see a list so that you can actually go through and get a really high overview of as well of what's being covered in each module. And there's also a list in there of the learning objectives and all the materials. And you can see it's kind of long. So this is a really useful document to look for when you get your download. And there's a whole bunch of graphics in a separate folder where you'll see that overview, and you'll see this little comparison. So we talk about the differences between a virtual summit, an online course, a group coaching program, and a virtual boot camp, we should also talk about what the difference is with a challenge. All right, but first, so a virtual summit is where you have guest speakers. So I think that is probably a little more obvious to you, that you have those, you have different speakers coming in. It's not really a hands-on thing. Boot camps are hands-on. An online course is usually a little bit longer, spread out. It can be self-study. It can be a mix of live and self-study, recorded videos. People do it, a lot of it self-paced. Group coaching, I think you may be more familiar in how that's different, because group coaching is, it doesn't have as specific a goal. So each person will have different things they're working on, and you are guiding them through it. So it'll have a little bit of a training element to it, as well as questions and stuff like that. It's certainly less time than one-on-one, but there is a regular ongoing commitment from you. It's not a condensed thing. Whereas a boot camp is condensed, intense. It could be 3 hours, it could be 30 days, but 30 days is kind of long. That starts becoming more like a challenge. When we give you challenges, those ready to go ones, the 5-day ones, those are mini things, almost like mini courses, where someone is not having to do a big time commitment. They're just doing, say, one little thing each day to get a result at the end. So they're working it into their regular schedule. In a boot camp, usually they're carving out a chunk of time. So rather than saying, okay, I'm going to do an hour today and an hour and 30 minutes tomorrow and a little something, you take a day, and that's what you're doing all day. No distractions, get a lot done. Right now, this is where, Sarah, you and I have had a little bit of back and forth about what a boot camp really means, because a lot of people call things a boot camp that are really more of a mini challenge or a sprint of that sort. But a boot camp is, think about basic training in the Army. That's all you're doing. You're not going off and going out to dinner and getting on your phone and running your business on the side. You are working hard. Maybe we're not doing it for 6 weeks, because people who are in business can't take out that much time. But think 3 days where you sit down and get your marketing plan done. And that's all you're doing. And then you go off and you're actually implementing it. So what's your view, Sarah?
Well, I let other people do things. So they might do 3 hours a day for 3 days as their boot camp. Because, I'm a mum with children at home. And if somebody said to me, for 3 days, you can't see your children off to school and you can't greet them when they come home and all of that, I'd be not going. Yeah. Part of being able to work for myself was to be able to shove them out the front door in the morning and say bye, and to be here when they got home. That was the perk of working from home. So if somebody takes away that perk, I get very unhappy. Mm-hmm. So for me, doing a boot camp that's slightly shorter, 3 hours or 5 hours for 3 days, rather than a day or 2 days, 4 days, works better. But that's because I like the perks of working from home. Your audience may not have those desires.
Mm-hmm. And the whole point is to not have the distractions. Otherwise, it's just a course that you're doing, or a little challenge where you're just spending half an hour. The whole point is to get a lot done in a short space of time and not have the distractions. So it's, okay, hubby, you look after the kids for the next half, or for half a day, whatever, and I'm going to go focus on this, my boot camp.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, if you think of them as a VIP day, as in you're spending that time with somebody doing a specific something, but instead of doing it one-to-one, you're doing it one to a smaller group. Mm-hmm. So you've still got the group aspect. You can still back and forth between the people in the group, but they're all there to learn SEO. Whereas in group coaching or on a VIP day, you can go off on a tangent. Somebody says, oh, I've come for a VIP day on SEO, and you land up talking email marketing because that's what they want to focus on. So it's, for me, the boot camp is something where you can intensely focus with a nice group of smaller amount of people. So it's not, to me, it's not as big as group coaching, although for other people it might be. I know fitness instructors that deliver virtual boot camps to 80 and 100 people. I can't conceive that. My own husband done one to 380 people a couple of weeks ago. To me, that was how many? But, he done it. It worked for him. They all loved it. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
But to me, the boot camp is a smaller, more intense period of things. And I know you disagree, Sharon. You like it all in one day, but
No, not necessarily. But the point is that it's very focused on one specific goal, and you don't have distractions. So you're going to sit down, and in those, across the space of 3 days, like I said, you can be creating your marketing plan. You can be focused on sitting down for half a day and writing an email series for an autoresponder versus spreading it out a little bit each day. So it could be half a day, sure. Build in a lot of breaks so that people can go off and do various things, but they're focused on getting one specific thing done. Whereas something like group coaching, everybody has a slightly different agenda.
Yeah.
So everyone's in it together. It's very intense and focused on one thing. An online course can be a lot of different things. So that's what a virtual boot camp is. And it's virtual. So you're not getting together in the park and all doing push-ups so that you can build your pecs. You are virtual. So you're in the living room, getting down on the floor and doing your push-ups. And so you have to have the tools, but luckily we have a lot of tech now that allows you to do it. It's not always the same as face-to-face. And we will get back to some of that, but we do have the tools and stuff. So, which actually there's a great early bird bonus that if you get the course, the Blaze package in the first week, you get a guide on live polling and breakout sessions. So that's really helpful too. It's a little extra thing. Okay, so that's our discussion on boot camps. If anyone has questions about that, hi Barb, hi Nettie, hi Lisa. Thank you for telling me what your name is as well. Good to see you here. If you have questions about the course or about virtual boot camps in general, please do put them in the comments. And remember that we've already had a lot of people grabbing it. It's contentsparks.com/virtual boot camps. Okay. So let us get back over and look at some of the stuff in here.
Open up, because there are some fantastic things in the student pack. And I was really amazed to see all of the things there. And to me, this was so well thought out, because, you have people say, I don't know how much to price my boot camp. It's there. I don't know what to deliver. It's there. Every single possible thing your student can say, I don't know, the answer's there. And that's really powerful, particularly when you're writing the sales page for something like this, because you can say, if you've ever wondered how to price a boot camp, or you've been held back from delivering one because you didn't know how to market, all of the components are here in the program. So you're able to give a really holistic, comprehensive training experience. I can see this being a lot of people's high level signature program.
Yep, absolutely. And I just opened up the action guide, because that has you can see all the modules, and you can see that this is where people are going to, let me put it side to side again. People are going to fill in some of their action steps. And what's different about this course is we do have a lot of things that are pullouts. So this just follows along. And like I said, I did a whole sneak peek video on the sales page if you want to really dive into everything. But then you can see sort of that there's a whole bunch of other things. I know it's hard to see. So why don't I just open one first, the timeline. So the timeline is a spreadsheet where people will plan out. So this is why it's separate. Spreadsheets you can't convert into a PDF, so you have to actually give people the spreadsheet. I have been asked that before, but it's not a big deal. Just put your branding on it, and that's easy enough to do. So they're going to plan out. For this particular course, we have it as 3 to 4 months in advance. Once you've done one boot camp, it becomes something that you can condense down. You don't have to do as much planning. You would focus more on the marketing side of it further out. But for someone who's new, you're going to do it a little bit further out, planning out the topics and things like that. So there are places to put dates and priorities and stuff like that, content, all your different deadlines. And that's important. People could also put this into a project management platform like Asana or Trello or whatever you like to use. So that is one of the spreadsheets. This one I want to show you. It's called Outline. Now this document, one of the handouts, is a complete outline. It's where you would outline your whole boot camp. So there's spaces to identify goals and structure and plan out each day. So we have it set up in here as a 3-day boot camp, but like Sarah said, it could be just 3 hours each day if that's what works best for your audience. So you'll just tweak this, or your students will tweak this based on what makes sense to them. And if you know your audience is moms, you'll outline this, or your students would outline this a little bit differently. So now remember, when it comes to the boot camps, virtual boot camps, this is a course on how to create, plan, market, run a virtual boot camp, which means you can use it yourself to plan out your own boot camp, or you can teach your audience how to do a boot camp, which works for pretty much any audience where someone has an expertise. And actually, you'll see we have a blog post on Saturday coming with more ideas, but there are examples inside. So if your audience is, say, marketing consultants, that's who you're working with. So they're working with businesses and giving them marketing advice. They could create a boot camp on the putting together a marketing plan in a weekend, right? So you're teaching them how to put that boot camp together. So thinking down the line, but I know a lot of you are going to use this first to do your own boot camp. So we can talk about how you can deliver this as a boot camp in a minute. So this outline could actually make a nice little lead magnet. I know looks like it's long. It says 29 pages, but it's there for 3 days of planning. So I could definitely see this as something where people can do their planning, and then they're going to want to take your course to really go through and learn how to do this in detail as well. Or you could cut it down and have it as planning a 1-day boot camp, so you don't have the extra pages. So are you going to do that, Sarah? Is that your next thing to do? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, mute, yeah. I quite like the idea of a 3-day boot camp. I think if it was a 1-day boot camp, I would feel pressured myself to get everything possibly done. I think if you've got 3 days, you've got time. And when Kevin done his, he would deliver his training, and that would take usually 20 to 30 minutes to deliver the training. And then he'd spend up to 3 hours answering questions afterwards. So some days the questions were quick, but he done his over 5 days. It was really intense. And like I said, he had a lot of people with him. He had 380 people with him, and he got some really spectacular outcomes from it. But the majority of his work, the work part of it, was the Q&A afterwards.
Yeah, because actually the reason people can get so much done in a boot camp is because you're right there answering questions while they're working. Even if it's people are off doing work quietly, you can be answering questions. You can have people in breakout rooms and groups so that you can just go into different breakout rooms via something like Zoom and answer questions so that people don't get stuck. Whereas if it's something like a group coaching or an online course, there's more back and forth over several days, or they have to wait till the Q&A session and they don't get as much done. And that's fine if it's something where it needs to be spread out. So a boot camp has to be, again, that focus goal where they're going to get it done in a shorter space of time. And then you do the longer things afterwards. So like, I know Kevin did it on blogging, right? So people would write their blog posts during that. That's something you can realistically get done in a very short space of time in a boot camp. And then he was just answering questions for the people that get stuck, right?
Mm-hmm. And even though he would do a session on headlines and writing headlines and throwing up examples, he would still spend the time afterwards giving custom headlines to people. Particularly, there was somebody doing dog training and somebody who teaches people to read, adults with issues, dyslexia and things like that. So he was having to really use his creative brain and come up with angles for them for their headlines on the spot. So it really shows your expertise. And the first day that he did it, people were like, oh, we don't believe you're capable of this. Right? And the second day, when he listed off all of his experience prior to delivering that day's blog post, because that day's blog post they had to do was about sharing their expertise and how it came about, etc. The whole room, you could hear a pin drop, and all of a sudden their whole attention shifted, and it was incredible. And he got that from doing this himself.
Yeah, and you can see, like Snejana said, it's perfect for breakthrough, and that's what you're saying that they did. And usually in the past, a lot of it was offline, and now we can do the online part. You have that ability, with our new technology, and people don't want to go get in person, but it's that change of the mindset, the breakthrough, and actually walking away with something, not just learning but doing. So like it could be a VIP weekend. That's the same sort of thing, really. But in VIP weekends, usually people all, or they each have their own agenda. Again, you might have a general theme, but everyone has something different they want to get out of it. Again, a boot camp is that focus thing on one goal. And that's why this is a really good thing for starting out. They work through the outline throughout the course, but this is focused, this section, on where you're actually outlining it and deciding on the content. So what you're going to do each day, introduction, some stuff you can do to start engaging people. What are the specific goals of that day? How are you going to help them? Summary. What else have we got? Expectations, agreements. This is more the general stuff. And then you go to day 2. You think about worksheets, other materials, stuff like that. There's also something on breakout groups and thinking about what you can do there. So evaluating what you would do. So you can see there's all these worksheets. Let's see what else.
Have you frozen, Sharon? Can you leave a comment if you can see me or hear me? I don't know if we've lost Sharon or you've lost me. Help. Let me see if I can bring that back. Okay.
They're little worksheets.
Sharon, we lost you for a moment. Yep.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay, she's back.
All right, you talk for a minute. I'm going to tell my husband to get off the Wi-Fi.
Right.
All right, these things happen.
I just asked them if they would comment to say whether it was just me here or I'd lost you or you'd lost me. Okay, then I'm going to talk for a bit while Sharon's texting her husband to say get off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I think I'm plugged in, so it should be fine. I just got a message from StreamYard telling me your internet connection is unstable. Try plugging in. like I am plugged in.
Yeah,
I have a gigabyte of I have tons of whatever data and stuff. This is the joy of 2 people working from home and trying to do live Zooms and live streams at the same time, even though we have very supposedly high-powered internet. So anyway, let's keep going. If you lose me again, you'll just keep talking, right?
Right. I'll just
Okay.
carry on if you freeze.
Okay.
So what I'd like everybody to do is, if you look on the screen, you've got the link to the page. If you pop over, you can actually scroll down the page to see the student material. So you have to scroll past all the modules, and underneath the nice little video, you'll see the student materials. There's a 122-page course book, so you can put that into a physical book on Amazon Print on Demand and send it out to people if you wanted. That's a real nice thing to have on their desk, hold in their hand. Then there's the action guide, which they can write in, they can print off themselves. The timeline, again, that's really good, because somebody can say, okay, I'm going to hand this to a VA and I know exactly what to expect, when, and do what and where.
Let me open
And
that.
that's really, sometimes when you're handing things off to get it done, you don't know how long it will take and you don't know what to expect. So the virtual bootcamp timeline is a really, really powerful thing. I can see people buying this program just to get their hands on that timeline. It is that powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've seen the outline that Sharon shared with you. So that could possibly be a lead magnet. I don't know if this comes with a challenge. I suspect it does. But that outline could even be a challenge, and you can run that over 3 days. They can map out their boot camp, but then they need the training to put together how they're going to deliver it.
While I'm
talking away, Sharon's going to get the challenge up, I hope.
This is just a bonus for during the launch. So I'm going to this is based on the opt-in report. So we give it to you in a challenge format as a bonus, so you don't have to do the work of setting it up as a challenge. But the nice thing about this, and tell me if I freeze or just type it in, is that they start to do the planning for their boot camp. So by the end, they have some basics, an idea of what their topic's going to be, what some of the tech tools are, and some of the length and format. But they see that they could do it themselves, but it's a lot of work. But if they take your course, they're going to get a lot more out of it. So this is really the initial stuff. They identify their goals. It's set up as emails so that each day, the first 5 days, they're going to do a little something with their goals, their format, the length, some tools and topics, right? And basically they're brainstorming, and then you introduce the course. So they've gotten something out of it, something of value. Their mindset is in boot camps now, and the fact that they can do this. And then you upsell the course. So the challenge can be on its own, where you're walking them through each day. You could do a higher level of that outline document, not the full thing. And we do put worksheets in here. We created worksheets just for the challenge. The last 2 emails that I'm just skimming through are set up so that you can promote your bootcamp course with things highlighted where you're going to fill in some information. All right.
And that's the really good thing about it, because it means everybody's bootcamp follow-up in the challenge is unique to them and to the audience. Yep, I totally agree. Just got to scroll up. Lisa, it is so much value in here, and it is incredible, because every single objection that somebody could have, there is something in the student materials, like the pricing spreadsheet. If they're going to give it to a designer, there's a creative brief. And if they don't know how to work out the email sequence, there's a worksheet. There's an opt-in email series worksheet. There's an on-camera practice checklist. So every possible objection that your students will have, oh, I can't do a boot camp because I can't get on camera. Right, here you go, we've sorted that out. What other problems have you got? Come back with something really. Oh, I don't know how to do a breakout activity. Oh, well, guess what? Guess what we got for you? We got some of that as well. And we've got a thing for you to be able to review it as well. This is such a powerful program. And as I said earlier at the start, I can see this being people's signature programs. But you can't call it bootcamp because I'm calling mine bootcamp.
Actually, one of the title that we were originally going to do for this was Virtual Bootcamp Basic Training. So that's an idea too, if people understand it, but I changed it because Virtual Bootcamp Basics sounded like it was basics, and this is really much more than that. So just so you know. The other thing, before I freeze again, is that you can deliver this as a boot camp, right? But there are sections in here that wouldn't necessarily work as well in a boot camp, like the marketing and selling, unless you're going to spread it out. So what I would do is take part of it. So actually setting up, because I can see in a weekend sitting down and mapping out the boot camp and deciding on the topic and planning each day, or even doing this in one day, a one-day boot camp, outlining everything, and then having follow-up sort of online course and Q&A and whatnot more spread out on the marketing and the delivering side of it. So that is one way you could do it. So you can see the main modules here, or the first few are around the choosing your tools and your topic and doing the content. And then we've got market and sell, deliver, and then follow up. So I would actually break it up if I was doing it so that I know people have it already and they can start marketing it. And here we've got mine will be Power Up Breakthrough Bootcamp. I love it because you said you were focusing on breakthrough as well. Yeah. And how are you going to do it, Sarah? What's your plan? You're muted.
Sorry, I've got a sore throat, so I'm muting so I can sip my Lemsip and still be able to talk, and then I forget to turn the mute off. I'm calling mine Bootcamp, as I said, and I'm going to do it as a challenge. I'm probably going to do it over a 5-day challenge to get people thinking around it and thinking around their boot camps. And then I'm going to upsell them into the main course. And I'm probably going to do that and run it as a 3-month thing. So the first part of it would be doing the goals and identifying the audience, and then when it gets to the marketing, have that over 4 weeks so people have got marketing. And at that point I see it as being perhaps a lot more one-to-one Q&A sessions with the audience. So I will pre-record up to the choose your best tools and tech, but the market and sell aspect, deliver it live and adapt it to the people into the room and do the Q&A back and forth to keep them motivated to get them out there marketing it. And when they're starting to make sales, I'll then do the deliver your virtual boot camp and the follow-up on it as recorded, and then gather their feedback. So for me, I would be using the timeline spreadsheet to say, okay, this is what we're doing in the first month. This is what you're going to be doing. This is how you're going to get it going, and so on, and give them the most hand holding during that part when it comes to marketing it, because a lot of people get excited, but when it comes to the marketing part, they fall down flat. Yeah. So I might focus on doing a session on doing sales pages for their boot camps. I might even put together my own bonus for that, so they can just import it in and they don't have to worry too much. They've got, perhaps I might do a fill in the blank thing as part of the training where they can create their sales page. So they don't get hit up on the, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And that puts them in a position of paralysis. So I can see this being, like it says, a high ticket boot camp. I don't see this as a product that you'd sell for $47.
God, no. Yeah, not at all. And yours is a combination of sort of challenge, course, and some group coaching, basically. Yeah. In some ways.
Yes, because I see the biggest sticking point with my audience is when it gets to the marketing part, they get all excited, and the bit where it comes to doing the work and hustling people through the gates so they can deliver their boot camp, because they put all their energy in the beginning part of it. So to help them over the slump, there's going to be a lot more personal interaction in the marketing aspect of it.
Yep. And there are a lot of things you can add on as well. If your audience struggles in one area versus another, remember that we have other courses that you can add on. So we have a whole course on camera video basics. So if you find that your audience is really struggling on that, you can have a separate workshop on that is either tacked on or you follow up with after people have done their first one, or if they're lacking confidence in going in, you can add that as a bonus and do practice sessions as well on that. So there's a lot of opportunities. Or if they are having trouble on the marketing side and building an audience, you could focus on building your audience with social media. So there's a lot of different ways you can take it, and you just need to understand your audience and what their needs are. Sarah, your audience, so they're going to struggle in certain parts of the marketing, and you're planning on how to deal with that from the beginning. So that's a big help. And
remember, Sharon's got the sales page course as well. So I can record that and bang that in. And I'm a huge fan of Thrive Architect, so I can export out some of my sales pages and say, stuck on that, go and write that and paste it in here. It's all laid out for you. So there's opportunity for me to earn some affiliate commission from Thrive, but it's also an opportunity for my people to create good looking sales pages, because sometimes they can get caught up in other people writing and doing a sales page and say, oh, mine will never be that good. And when you can show them the tool and say, look, it really is that easy. Copy and paste. It's brilliant. And Sharon's pulled up the sales copy here. So we don't even have to think too much.
It's a bonus, though.
It's a bonus. Ooh.
Yes, it's the upgrade bonus. So if you do need help with your own sales page copy and you don't want to just pull snippets, need some guidance, we have a blog post that gives sort of a template. We have that course, but with this course, we also have some sales page copy that you can customize. When I say it's upgrade bonus, it's if you get the Blaze package and the upgrade pack, which I can show you as well. And has it all outlined with places highlighted. You can sort of see in red where you would fill in your course name, this is where you put your story and a testimonial. So it's always going to be unique. And the things that are the same is some of the upfront stuff that you can tweak, module overviews, and then again, like I said, places where you'd put your own information in to make it unique and to resonate with your audience. And that is a bonus that goes with the upgrade pack. The upgrade pack is one of those things we sell where it's not essential to delivering the course. As you can see, there's already so much in the course, but it adds something to it. And you see that after you add the Blaze package to your course, you see the option to get that. It has module quizzes and a Trello board. So the module quizzes are quizzes to go with each module. Kind of obvious. And you can upload them into something like Teachable or New Zenler or Thinkific or any kind of learning platform that has that option to do quizzes. If you're doing this live, you could set it up on a quiz platform. You could even use, I think, probably Google Forms or lead quizzes, things like that. So you can see there's questions and answers that go with each module. We tell you which one's correct because you have to set that up in any quiz, say what's correct. Oh, did I cut out again?
Barb said you cut out, but
Barb said I did. Ooh. Oh. Anyone else who can still hear me, please just note that you can hear me.
And whilst we're waiting, I'll talk in case Sharon cuts
Otherwise, I'll just keep jabbering away, talking about it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is really powerful to have the quizzes at the end of each one, because quite often you have people say, oh, I've done the training And, you know, I didn't understand the yeah. But if they know they've got to do a quiz at the end of it, they pay more attention. And it's just one of those little things that makes you stand out from somebody who's doing a little course in a Facebook group or delivering it randomly somehow, and you've got this professional experience where you're testing their knowledge and encouraging them to grow. And I initially I thought, oh, what am I going to do that? And that was because I weren't using New Zenler at the time. I forget what I was. Oh, I was using Access Ally and WordPress.
Right.
Prior to that, I was using Derek Halpern's, I can't remember what it's called, Zippy Courses.
Oh,
Zippy
yes.
Courses. I loved Zippy Courses. I could get a program up in 15 minutes. It was fantastic. Moved to Access Ally, the pro version, all singing, all dancing. Take me 3 days to get a course up. It was a complete nightmare. So when these were introduced, I didn't have a fast way of getting the quiz bit. So I was a bit, you know. Now I'm in New Zenler, and if you've turned up to any of the training or anything that we do, VIP lives, you will know that I've become a complete advocate of all the follow-up emails because New Zenler asks for them, and New Zenler asks for the quizzes. So whenever I see an upgrade for something that I've had for a couple of years and they've got a quiz, I run out and buy it because I can put that in the course as well. And then email everybody and say it's been updated. And you know, it's just one of those little things that helps separate us from everybody else with courses out there, just testing their knowledge and encouraging the person to pay attention to the program that they've bought. And here's the email follow-ups.
Here's the first one. We have them separated. So like this one is, when you do course follow-up emails, you want to make sure that you're giving additional tips and keeping people motivated. So it goes with the course. And we give you 5 to start with, and then you can obviously add on. So you want to send some emails during the course to remind them, send them back to whatever lesson they're supposed to do that day. And then afterwards, continue to give them tips. So for instance, this one is about building a sense of community with your bootcamp. And the second one is around tips on researching your market. Choose a bootcamp by researching your market. So various tips that you want to send out, and then have a call to action at the end of each, depending on where you want to send people, to a blog post where you did more, to another course. Like if the email is about researching your market, you could send them to the thing on the one we have on researching your competition or knowing your customer. But that's a great one. Like research your competition, I think, is one of the smaller ones. So you could just set it up as a little video series that you could send them to as a bonus, or it could be an upsell, that kind of thing. So always have that call to action, or that call to action could be, hey, give me a call if you're still struggling. I do some one-to-one coaching that I can offer, or I have a mastermind group where everyone works together, an accountability group, things like that. So always think about it in terms of your overall business model and where you want to offer more, where you want to build up. What were we talking about? I know we're running short on time already. I do want to show you that early bird bonus. But first, Diana had a question, which is, I've delivered the content before and called it a boot camp. What is the best approach to retrofit what I already have to this model? I can certainly consider offering something longer and higher price later this year using the full timeline and model. So I'm assuming what you're saying is you have like an online course that you were calling a boot camp and you want to retrofit. So my recommendation is you look at what you have and see what somebody could realistically get done where they'd have a big win in the space of a day or 2 days or 3 days. You know, keep it short. If you want it something smaller, make it a 1-day thing. You could even do a half-day thing, 3 hours, where they're getting one thing done. So it depends on your topic. Going back to like one of the things I said before, it could be just writing their email auto follow-up series, or creating a lead magnet, and the follow-up series could be a boot camp where everyone's working just on that. So take a look at your course and maybe break it up that way and have the other stuff as recorded videos afterwards with some live Q&A, stuff like that. So I hope that helps. It would help if we knew what the topic was that you were trying to retrofit as well, Diana. Okay. We've got 15 minutes left. Sorry, guys, we have a very hard end time today because Sarah has ninjas. Also, you're going to get bored listening to us after a while. While people are, if you add any other questions you have, but while we're at it, I just want to show you where to go. I lost my folder. I want to show you that early bird bonus because this is something really good. Oh, I'm glad Diana said it helps. Excellent. This is only for people that buy the Blaze package in the first week. I showed it to you. I think I showed it to you briefly before, maybe not. It's use live polling in breakout rooms to keep your bootcamp audience engaged. Okay, so this is something that, this is one of those bonuses where, again, you don't have to have it in the course, but it makes an excellent bonus or even lead magnet. So people, and what I love about this particular one is you can repurpose it for other courses. So if you are teaching about how to create an online course, if you're teaching about how to teach online or group coaching, live polling and breakout rooms are going to help a lot. And you would just switch out some of the language in here to make it online course, how to keep your when you're delivering it live. All right, so we've got live polling, talking about reading the room, what's the purpose, what kinds of questions you can ask, what platforms you can use, polling apps, and then a worksheet so that people would plan out how they're going to do it, how they're going to use that in their virtual boot camp, or you repurpose it in their online course or their group coaching sessions. And then we've got a section on breakout sessions, how to get participants involved and invested. What are some of the benefits? What can you use them for? Like networking, collaboration, problem solving, brainstorming, and something like Zoom has the ability to do breakout sessions. And there are other platforms that allow that too, where you can drop in on the group. You as the leader can drop in. So there's tips on doing that, keys to success, and again, a worksheet for them to plan it. So this is really great as a standalone bonus or lead magnet of some sort, or something you can work through. And Sarah, are you planning to use this as well?
I am, and I'm not. I might use it to teach myself and practice with before I adapt it and let it loose on my audience. But it's another one of those lovely things that somebody says, I don't know how to do. You say, yeah, we've got something for that. Mm-hmm. And it just overcomes all the sales objections. And that's what I really loved about this program, was every single thing that I could imagine my clients would say, there was something to deal with it. It is just so good. And, you know, sometimes you get a course and it's a snack size course. It's a bite size thing. This isn't. This is the main course and the dessert. It's a really lovely program. And like I say, I can see it being so many people's signature go-to program where they run it 2 or 3 times a year, because it's so powerful, particularly for your audience, no matter what they do, whether they're hairdressers. You know, you can do lots of boot camps for hairdressers, and if it's for other particular trades, you can show them how to do boot camps for those. So it doesn't matter what your audience is, there's a boot camp that they can do to grow their business.
Oops,
and
really big there.
We're short again, all lopsided. So it's really, really powerful. If you've got people, in particular, some of the communities I'm in, people are struggling. You know, the pandemic's torn how they do business apart, and they're having to rethink everything. And if you can say to them, you know, I'll show you how to do a boot camp, and you can potentially get people in. You're helping people kickstart their business, and they're going to be really grateful. They're going to be clients for life, which is just the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Who was it that said, I'm looking back, that they were doing this as a breakthrough? Snejana, was doing it as a breakthrough. And exactly what you said, people are stuck. People don't have time to be spreading something out over 6 months in order to see results. So you can start out doing that breakthrough with a boot camp, whatever length you want to do, so that they get that first thing, that kickstart. They have motivation, they have something done. And it's not a little tiny quick win like you get out of a little tiny mini challenge. It's something big. And then you continue on from there. They're motivated, and it's easier to keep them accountable and keep them motivated. So you follow up with online courses. And that's the thing I love about the boot camps, especially if you can really get people to not have distractions during that time. And that's tough with some audiences. Like you said, Sarah, if you're moms, you have kids, you can't, if you're stuck at home, you can't get them out of the house or you can't get out of the house to work somewhere. You can't just go to the library or go somewhere else and
we might
focus.
Not be allowed out. You might still be working in a place that's in lockdown. I know the Philippines are on day 403 where they're not allowed out, full stop.
Yeah.
So if you've got somebody who's stuck indoors and they're mandated by their government to stay in, they've got the time to do a boot camp, or they've got the motivation to do a boot camp and succeed at it because their normal working avenues are closed to them. They're having to be really creative. So you can help a lot of people.
Yep. So now is a great time to do this, but it's still evergreen, and it's something people are going to want to continue to do. And what Snejana said was, I offer a 3-month course first and then the boot camp, and then enroll them in a 1 year. Okay, so you get them more gradually onto one thing and then do the boot camp and then the 1 year. Think about whether you want to maybe try switching it up too. Give it a try. See if it makes sense for you. That would be something, because that boot camp thing, it depends on the topic, but if the boot camp is a next level, then they do have to start with a 3-month where they're doing more beginner things. And then the boot camp can be a next level where they're ready to do some more advanced stuff. So that would make a lot of sense in that scenario too. All right. Well, I have nothing else to add here because I'm happy. I think we've covered everything. Again, if you go to the sales page at that URL, you'll see the module overviews. You'll see a sneak peek video, like I said before, that has me opening up all these different files and talking through them. And I give some more ideas in there of ways you can use it and branding. So if you do want to get a real feel more of opening stuff and you missed it on here, then definitely go look at that as well. All right. And I'd love to hear what kind of boot camps you are going to do yourself, and then how are you going to use the course, because you're going to want to go through this course yourself and think about what boot camps you can do, and then teach your audience how to do them, because anyone can do these. All right. The boot camp is the next. Oh, Barb, really? I'm cutting off? If the boot camp is left, what I said was, if people are beginners and your boot camp's a little more advanced, then I don't even know if you can hear me now. Then what you could do is start, like Snejana's doing, start with something beginner where it's spread out a bit, and then do your boot camp as something more advanced, and then continue on with something more intense. So it's just another setup you could do, versus somebody who needs a kickstart right now in the very beginning, doing a boot camp and then going to the online course. So depending on your audience. For your audience, you have some more advanced people. I could see you doing a more advanced boot camp as well. You don't have to just have one. You can have multiple ones. Start with the beginner one, do an online course, then have a more advanced one, get people back together again. So that will work. Hopefully you heard me, Barb.
Keep in the hydro so that you stop cutting out.
Okay. All right. This must be a good time.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't call it electric there.
Oh, my husband said he'd been off already the internet for 10 minutes. I don't know how long ago he told me that. Big sigh. Oh, Barb, you didn't hear me at all?
Oh, no.
Well, if everyone else heard me, you might have to go back. Diana said the audio's good. So, okay. Hopefully this won't happen in the middle of your boot camp. So maybe we should have a session one time where we talk about what to do when there's technology breakdown and how to handle that, right?
Yep.
We can do stuff like that. But Barb, I was just saying, you can have the boot camp, you can have advanced, beginner, different ones, and set it up based on your audience. Have a beginner's boot camp, a more advanced one, have a course in between. So map it out. Maybe use a mind map. One of our VIPs, I think it was Jane Kelly, loves using mind maps for that. So you can have a mind map to see how all your different things are going to fit together. All right. So please go check it out. I'd love to hear what kind of boot camps you're going to do and how you're going to fit it into your business and how you're going to teach your audience to do them as well. All right. So we are going to sign out, but we will see if you put some questions in. Lisa said, purchased it. Can't wait to get into it and then out to my audience. Lisa. Brilliant. I can't wait to hear about it too. Make sure you post in the customer group. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day and have fun with your new course. Bye now.